Or to the card. Okay, that should be it. Okay, so what I was saying is, let's draw a sprued up wax tree. So we talked about the model and where we attach the sprue, and now we'll talk about the tree itself. So this is my rubber base, and this is my fixed central sprue. What we would be doing is attaching the sprue like this at an angle, and this is my model, my ring. So, does that make sense? What's important here is what we call the gates. So this join here and this join here, which is where the sprue, which is the wax rod, attaches to the central tree and onto the model. The gates need to be fully shut in order for the metal to flow easily to all parts of our model. So we want to, that's sort of using our dental tools and the spirit lamp or the soldering iron to melt and stick the wax rod onto it. Okay, so why are the angles important?
Is it so it gets all the way like down to the bottom of the model?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. So when we're sprueing, we want to always think of the flow of metal. So the way we sprue it is we need to have this like 30 to 45-degree angle when we're joining the sprue on. And this is because when we're casting it, the flask will be turned upside down. So it will be like in the machine, it will look like this. And so as it looks like that in the machine, what you want to think of gravity and think of how it's how the metal's flowing. Is it all pointing downhill? So will the metal flow to all spaces? Does that make sense? Yay or nay? Yay? Okay, good. So basically,
sorry, Millie, can I just ask, what's the big red? The big
red circle is my rubber base.
Okay.
So that's sort of where I will be sort of, it keeps it all, together.
That's where you pour the molten metal in, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And the big green one is what exactly?
Is a fat wax stick. So that's called my central sprue, and that's what I'm attaching. That's what I'm attaching my models onto.
Oh, okay.
So I would fill this with models.
Okay.
But with this, the one on this side, this is what it was look like on the machine when it's upside down, and it's useful to like turn your base upside down to check the sprue. If you had, for example, if you had a sprue that was joined like this, that would be wrong because it's not going to flow uphill.
Yeah.
It's going against gravity.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. So I will. Have we got any questions about that?
I don't know whether I missed something at the beginning because I couldn't get on. If that is that it's all wax. So how do you, because if you pour molten metal onto the wax, it'll just melt. Do you not have to have something around it?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll keep going, because that if I keep going, this should answer that question. Yeah. In fact, I might do a new, if I get a new page on my whiteboard there. Okay. So just to keep describing quick, this is my tree. This is my models. So this bit here, like we said, is the rubber base. So once this tree is being sprued correctly, then what I would do is I will put it hold on, I'm going to backtrack myself for a second. Normally, I would be getting you guys to sprue the tree, but for this project, I'm spruing the tree because of your time limits for because it's so quickly done. But when we're spruing, what's really important is the weights, and it's really important to keep a tally of our weights. So in my video, I said the first thing that we need to weigh is, can anyone tell me? It's the rubber base. Okay, so first thing that we're weighing is the rubber base. And then once we've sprued the tree, then we will weigh it again, and that will give us an accurate weight of the wax. So we need to park that little idea, and we will come back to the weight of the wax. But so we've got this tree, it's all sprued up, and then I will put a flask around it. So I'll slot my flask in place, which surrounds it. Then I will seal the flask. The flasks have like holes in, so I'll put like a plastic sleeve around it, make sure that it's all like watertight. And then what I will do is mix up my investment mix. And the investment is basically, it's a type of really, really smooth plaster. And for this, like, again, this is something that I would be doing, but we're just describing it so that we all understand the process. It's very smooth plaster mix, and like the ratios of that are important so that we get it to set correctly. And basically, I'm just going to like pour that in the top of the model, and it's gonna fill up and surround all of my waxes. Completely cover them. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in a vacuum chamber, and the vacuum chamber will degas it, because I don't want air bubbles in there. I want it to be as smooth as it can be so that it's fully capturing the models. So I do that for about 2 minutes to 3 minutes, and then it will set. So it's this investment mix sets pretty quickly. It should be all done within 10 to 20 minutes. It will be set, and then I will have the investment mix ready. So then I would pop my flask into a kiln, and it's gonna burn it out. So it's my flames. My kiln is gonna burn out my wax. So the wax will no longer be there. It will be just an empty cavity inside. So it will just be empty. That's why it's called lost wax casting. Can I get a thumbs up if we understand? Yep.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know how to use a thumbs up.
That's
I
okay.
don't know where it is.
But yeah, so that's the investment process. So that's the sprue in the wax tree first, and then the investment process, and then the burnout. And so then what we would be doing is putting our flask into the casting machine, which is going to do the casting. So I don't know if we all watch the video, the casting machine looks like something out of like some kind of weird space machine. So it's like got a top bit here with like a window, and then a bottom section here. What we do is we pop the flask in the bottom section here. So this is where my flask is. And then in this top section here is where the crucible is, and a load of heating elements. Kind of used a bit too much red. So those heating elements are surrounding my crucible. Crucible is like a graphite cup, essentially. And my heating elements, it's like a kiln, is heating it up to the temperature that I set it to be on the machine. And this is gonna heat it up, and in the crucible is where, so this is the crucible, this is where we put the metal. So the metal's in there, and it's all heating up, and it's getting hot and liquidy. And then when it's ready and at the correct temperature, I will pull a button which will open up like a gate, open up a door here, and my hot metal is going to pour into my flask. This process, what this machine is and what this process is called is vacuum casting. So in this bottom element here, this is under vacuum. So this is like attached to a vacuum pump over here. And what the vacuum does is it like pulls the metal to all of the corners of the flask. It helps get to like very fine, delicate spaces, because the molten metal can be, it's like lava to start off with, and then it goes sort of liquid, like water liquidy, but it will sort of turn back into its lava state quite quickly. So it needs to have a little bit of extra help to pull to all the corners. So this type of machine is called a vacuum casting machine, and this is what you would find in if you sent things to a casting company, they would most likely be using one or the other of either a vacuum casting or centrifugal casting machine. Centrifugal casting machine uses centrifugal gravity, so it does like, I mean, I'm not an expert on centrifugal machines, but it essentially uses like spinning power to draw the metal to the corners. But yeah, so that's what I will do when you've given me your models. It will all get cast. Then I will open up the machine, and then I put the flask into a bucket of water once it's cooled slightly, and then all that investment mix that was surrounding our models will dissolve. It will just disappear, turn back into like a slurry mix, and then I can lift out my which will now be a metal tree of my models.
So what is this investment mix then that?
It's like a plaster. like a plaster mix, but it's got some like silica or silicon in, so it's like not very healthy stuff for you.
So it goes hard when.
So it sets within like 10-20 minutes once we've poured it and mixed it. And then it cures and like bakes in the oven when we're doing our burnout.
Yeah.
And then then when we quench it, then it will dissolve.
Okay.
So I'm gonna stop share now and come back to you guys. Does that make sense a bit more? Did everybody watch the videos, and does anybody have any specific questions from the videos for me?
Oh, sorry, the videos, I obviously missed that. Where did you post them?
So the videos are all on Moodle. I sent a link out in last week for an email for you guys to say to watch 3 videos. The one's called How to Sprue Wax Tree. The second one's investment casting, and the third one is vacuum casting. And they're all like 5 minutes long. So
I completely forgot about it. Sorry.
Okay. I can send you a link again.
Yeah.
But yeah, they help to explain this again for you guys.
I'm sorry if I've I don't know if I've missed this, but how long does like the whole process take? Is it like quite quick or is it quite slow? Like
Medium?
after you've got your wax attached to the tree, like ready to go.
Yeah. So spruing the wax tree itself is quite a time-consuming process. Then the mixing and the burnout, it needs to be done overnight. So the kiln will run overnight to burn it out. I would sort of invest in the afternoon, burn out overnight, and then I would cast the next day. So all in all, like I need like at least 2 to 3 days, but about 3 days to be honest, to get it through the process.
Okay. I just wasn't sure if it was like, like a 3-hour thing or like a few day thing.
Yeah, a few day thing.
So once you've got your once you've cast your metal piece, can you make duplicate copies of it? And if so, how?
The answer is yes. And in very quick form, it's from making a rubber mold. And I will explain that in next week's session. But yeah, I wanted to, I don't know if I can flip my camera around. I'm on my iPad today. Hold on, pat fingers. Okay, these are the flasks I wanted to show you. So when I was in red talking about the rubber base, this is the rubber base that we have. This is the rubber base with a central sprue attached. So this is wax in the middle. And these are the 3 sizes of flask. So small, medium, large. And that just depends on the length, but they all are the same diameter in length, in width, or whatever the word is. So that's my rubber base, that's my sprue, and I would pop my flask on the top, sit it in there properly, I want a bit up. And I'm not going to do that this time. Once I've sprued it or put it in, what I also need to be sure of is that the models have a clearance between the sides of the walls. So I need about 10 to 20 mil, 1 to 2 centimeters from the top and from the sides of the models. And that is so that I have a thick enough investment wall to hold it all in place. If the wall is too thin at any point, then the metal might just burst its way through. Where are we? There. But yeah, so that's what we're doing. What we're doing is lost wax casting, and we're using a vacuum casting machine to do it. And that's sort of something that is more like industrial as such. It would be done. It gives you the chance to do things like in multiples and to do lots of them quickly. There's other ways of casting, and so just so that we're aware that another way could be cuttlefish casting, which is like a single-use mold, or again a different way would be sand casting, also known as Delft clay casting, and that's sort of more, again, you would use for single use. But we're not gonna go into those ones. I just wanted to say the names so that we were aware they existed. But have we got any more questions from where we're at now?
Would you only do like a wax? Would you only do like a wax casting if you do have like a lot of pieces to go in it?
For the casting machine?
Yeah. So would you make sure that you've got like a lot because it takes a few days?
Yeah. Ideally, if at uni we're doing the casting, you want to make the most of all the materials that we're using. So I would not really allow us to use the casting machine to cast just the one piece.
Yeah.
Maybe say like cast at least 3, so that we're making full use of all the materials, because it's a long process.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah. Is everybody happy? How's everybody feeling? Give me an emoji.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I'd unmuted myself.
We okay?
If you've got an intricate piece,
Yeah.
sort of with finer sort of pieces, how easy is that? Is that possible to do in this machine, or is it something you'd do in something else?
An intricate. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, sort of like almost like sort of, well, it's not as thin as lace, but that sort of kind of.
Yeah, it should work. It should work. You can, if you want to send me pictures, then I can have a look. But if it's wax, then it should work, no bother.
No, it's not that I've got anything. I'm just asking, really.
Oh, okay. Yeah. If anyone's heard of filigree is a technique which involves like teeny tiny wires, and that works fine. But if we're all happy, I will leave it there for us all. I will, because I did record this, I'll pop it on to YouTube for you all. And what was I going to say? And next week, so next week I'm going to talk about multiples and what we would do if we wanted to make multiples. But I will leave you all just now.
Thank you.
Just let me know if anybody has any questions. I'm just an email away.
Okay, thank you. Can you send us the link to the recordings?
Yeah, I'll do that after this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, no worries, guys. See ya.